I am Kristen Warzoka, and I have the privilege of serving as the president and CEO of your Greater Cleveland Food Bank. Thank you for joining us to celebrate the success of the 2025 Harvest for Hunger campaign, and more importantly, for making this success possible. You know, community leadership is so important to an undertaking like this one. And since the very beginning, we have had extraordinary support from so many individuals and organizations. I particularly want to start our program by thanking two who have been at our side for decades, since the campaign was started. And those are the City of Cleveland and Cuyahoga County. I want to thank our honorary co-chairs of this year's campaign, Mayor Justin Bibb, yes, who's here with us today, and County Executive Chris Ronayne and their teams for their long-term commitment and their leadership in the fight against hunger. Now, County Executive Chris Ronayne could not be here today, although I know he is here with us in spirit, and he's got a colleague capturing the entire day for him. And we appreciate the constant support and the leadership and partnership in so many ways that we have with Cuyahoga County. The City of Cleveland team is also incredibly committed to our work, conducting one of the largest employee food and funds drives each and every year for the campaign. And the creativity and effort that they put into this drive is commendable and an inspiration to all. Now, of course, the best teams are supported by great leaders, and it is our pleasure to have Mayor Justin Bibb with us today to share his perspective on the importance of the Harvest for Hunger campaign, of community collaboration, and of your support. Mayor Bibb, thanks for being here today and for your incredible leadership. Please come on up.
Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Let's give our amazing CEO, Kristen, another big round of applause if we can. She is one of the most dynamic nonprofit leaders, not just in the state, but in the country. We all know this has been a challenging year for Cleveland, a challenging year for our state, and a challenging year for our nation. There is a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear, a lot of chaos happening in every part of our community right now. But every year, this campaign is a source of hope, inspiration, and what's possible in this community when we work together. I want to just acknowledge the amazing public servants from the City of Cleveland that are here. Please stand if you can. Colleagues from the City of Cleveland all across the room. We helped raise over $90,000 this year to support Harvest for Hunger. And we were just $10,000 shy of the top level, so I'm gonna go back to City Hall and talk to my CFO to figure out. I don't like being in second place.
Not too late.
Yeah, I know, it's not. Thanks, Howard, for the reminder. And I know we're gonna recognize Nick and Tom from the Cavs and the Cleveland Clinic, but I have to say, as mayor of this great city, it is so great to have two civic leaders in our community who put their time, their talent, and their resources where their values are. So let's give Nick and Dr. Mihalovic a big round of applause if we can. It's probably not a week or a month that doesn't go by when I'm talking to Nick or Dr. Tom about an important issue in our community. I'm so grateful for their support, and I'm grateful for your partnership and everything you do to make our city a fantastic place. And let's shout out all the great partners who made today possible. Give yourselves a big round of applause. if we can. This is what the work is about. So please celebrate your accomplishments. Know that charity cannot replace the impending cuts we may see in the federal government or the state. So that means that we as a community have to continue to advocate with one voice for the importance of always finding a way to help the least among us. Helping the least among us. That's our moral responsibility, and that must be our North Star as we go forward. So again, congrats and have a fantastic weekend in our great city. Thanks so much, I appreciate it. Kristen, the floor is yours.
Well, I hope that conversation with your CFO goes well. Thank you, Mayor Bibb, for your passion for our work, for the fight against hunger, and for your passion for the city of Cleveland and all of the neighbors that we serve. You know, here's what I can promise. I can promise that your Greater Cleveland Food Bank is going to do everything in our power to provide as much nutritious food as we can, to as many partners as we can, and as many neighbors as we can. And you are making that possible. And I can't tell you how incredibly grateful we all are. You know, we can't do this work alone. The highest impact efforts require a great community, the hard work of tens of thousands of people who become engaged, including volunteers at our food bank and out at our partner agencies, and a strong public-private partnership. And so I am grateful for each and every one of you who are here today, who care enough to help, who've stepped up in extraordinary ways this year. You know, I know that I can speak on behalf of our partner food banks, our more than 1,000 partner agencies, and the hundreds of thousands of neighbors that we collectively serve when I tell you how important you are and how grateful we are. You know, many of you know that Harvest for Hunger is one of the largest food and funds drives in the nation. And I always want to make sure that people understand that it's a joint effort of 4 food banks collectively serving 21 counties in Northeast Ohio. And I always want to recognize our partners because we couldn't do this without them. Our partners in this effort are the Akron-Canton Regional Food Bank, the Second Harvest Food Bank of North Central Ohio, and the Second Harvest Food Bank of the Mahoning Valley, which serves Youngstown. And I am so grateful for their involvement, not just in this drive, but the effort that they put in with their partner agencies each and every day, serving their service territories. Now, I have had the pleasure of doing this work for almost 25 years. And in that time, I have met a lot of neighbors who, for one reason or another, have found themselves at a food bank or one of our partner agencies needing a little bit of help. Some of these folks stick with me, and I recently met a woman that I will not easily forget. Her name is Rosemary, and she was waiting for a ride at our Community Resource Center. The food that she had just selected was sitting on the seat of her walker while she waited. And we struck up a conversation, and she told me her life story. And it was amazing. So Rosemary is 72 years old. She told me she'd been working since she was 12, and I believe her. This woman was a dynamo. She worked her way up in kitchens, and then she went to culinary school. She loved a kitchen. She loved cooking, and she still does. But she retired to Florida, and she lost her home in a hurricane. And so she moved back to Northeast Ohio to be closer to family. She came to our Community Resource Center because she just couldn't make ends meet anymore, and she needed a little help with food. She told me that today, at 72, she gets by on Social Security, Medicaid, SNAP, and a part-time job she recently picked up working retail to help herself get by. But her income still doesn't pay all the bills. So she needed a little bit of help. And the fact is, we hear stories like Rosemary's more and more, all the time. And I want you to know that the reason that we had fresh produce and dairy and protein items, as well as our non-perishable items at our Community Resource Center, and the reason that our partners do too, is in large part because of all of you. And so when you think about your contribution to the campaign, the effort you put into your drive, the effort you put into inspiring others in your organization to do something amazing, please think about neighbors like Rosemary, who are so appreciative of the food that you have helped make possible. You know, you are making hard days brighter and healthier for so many people in our community. And you may never get to meet them, but I do. And I get to see the power and the impact of your work every day. So speaking of power and impact, it is a real pleasure to have the opportunity to introduce our 2025 Harvest for Hunger campaign co-chairs, Nick Barlage and Dr. Tom Mahalovic. Now, Nick, of course, is a man who needs no introduction, the CEO of the Rock Entertainment Group and of the extraordinary Cleveland Cavaliers, who have hosted so generously our luncheon here today. This is his first year as a co-chair of the Harvest for Hunger campaign, and he has been a true blessing to our work. Recruiting new kitchen cabinet members, new companies, and motivating our team and the whole community to work really hard against this year's campaign goal. He has been relentless in his first year as a Harvest for Hunger co-chair, and we are so grateful. Dr. Tom Mahalovic is the president and CEO of the world-renowned Cleveland Clinic, and this is his second year as a Harvest for Hunger co-chair. Now, it's a 2-year assignment, although there are many folks we love to keep for longer, and we are just so grateful. He cares personally very deeply about food insecurity and inspired the Cleveland Clinic to make a major 5-year commitment to address childhood hunger in the city of Cleveland. He inspires not just his employees, but the entire greater Cleveland community. And I want to thank Dr. Mahalovic and also Vicki Johnson, his colleague, our friend, who's the Executive Vice President and Chief Community Officer, who worked so closely with Dr. Tom on representing the Cleveland Clinic for the last 2 years. So both of our co-chairs, along with their amazing teams, truly care about this work, about our neighbors, and about reducing the number of people in our community who need emergency food. And we are beyond grateful to have them by our side in this work. It's my pleasure to invite Dr. Mahalovic up to the podium.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you very, very, very much for having me. You know, this is a topic that I and all of us at Cleveland Clinic are very, very passionate about. And there are following reasons for it. If you just think about our individual responsibilities as family members, let's just speak about our own family. What are the most relevant responsibilities of parents? To put food on the table, roof over your head, safe environment, and opportunity for education. What has always been puzzling to me, that such a deep personal beliefs that are shared by every person in every country around the world are not translating necessarily into the actions that would address the needs of a broader society. The first priority of each of us to our neighbors, our loved ones, is to put food on the table. It's a lost opportunity to declare this as a national priority. There's no reason why this country should ever tolerate with all of our might and fortunes, to have out of 5 kids to wake up in the morning not knowing where the next meal is coming from. That's the reason why we are all so passionate about this. And that's also why we're passionate at Cleveland Clinic, because one thing that is obvious to all, but still worth emphasizing, is people cannot grow and have healthy, productive lives if they're hungry. As simple as that. Good health is linked to good nutrition. Period. And that's the reason why Cleveland Clinic is passionate about it. Now let's just speak about our great city. There are very many times that I am in a conversation with people around the world, and when they ask me, I say, okay, there are typically 3 questions. What do you do? Where do you live? And then the reasons around it. So it typically says, okay, what do you do? I tell them what do I do. Then I say, where do you live? I said, I live in Cleveland, Ohio. And then the question is, why? So let me tell you why. The why is obvious to all of us who live in this great city. There is not a single civic environment that I am aware of, that I've lived at, and I've lived around the world, that is more community focused and most dedicated to the well-being of fellow citizens as Cleveland, Ohio. And this is one of the stories that we keep on telling to one another, but we have had a consistent leadership in this city. Our mayor is here today that speaks enough about the importance of the topic to emphasize that this city really, really cares about its fellow citizens. And Nick and I have a privilege of representing 2 large institutions in this city, and we need no convincing to join forces and do what is right for the city of Cleveland and what is right for people here, in particular those who are less fortunate than we are. So we are absolutely not only delighted but very privileged to stand in front of you today. And we all know that the work that our food bank does and Harvest for Hunger does is of phenomenal relevance for so many. Now, this is a time also when we have these big reveals, and we kind of share with you what we were able to do in this year's campaign. So we will try to keep this momentum going. And now I would like to invite students from Bedford Heights High School mentoring program to the front of the room. I understand that they're here. Are you here? And if yes, where are you? So these students, as they're kind of gathering courage to step in front of you, they have hosted multiple fundraising campaigns over the last 4 years, and their dedication has helped us to feed the communities in a way that is truly impressive and heartwarming. Now, I'll also ask my dear friend Nick to come up here and help me reveal the grant total. And Nick and I, partners here, partners in this good effort, but also I call Nick my dear friend. So are we? You guys give us a hint when you're ready for a big reveal. And we'll do the countdown. The longer it lasts means that the more money we've raised. It's a bigger number.
The more digits.
It's a bigger number. Zeros are good. The first number should be high, and the last number should be 0. That's all of the math that you need to know for this, okay? Okay?
All right.
So should we?
Ready?
Nick, let's do the countdown. You're the pro here. Okay.
All right. On the count of 3. 3, 2, 1. Flip those cards over.
So are you sure? Yeah. There we go. Up higher.
Oh my gosh.
Terrific. Got all the photos? Okay. Thank you very much. So we're also pleased to report that the community has come together to collect enough food and funds. This translates into 33 million meals. Northeast Ohio community has obviously responded extremely well to our call, and helping neighbors contributed over $11 million, and we should be really incredibly proud of this achievement. And I would also like to recognize what we appropriately call the members of our 2025 Kitchen Cabinet. You know, this is a group of organizational leaders who have lent a hand in this campaign, and I believe that their names are going to be here behind me. So there's too many to read, but I'm sure you're going to recognize the very many people who have contributed in this effort. And now I will like to invite Nick Barlage back on the stage. We all know Nick as the CEO of Rock Entertainment Group and our beloved Cleveland Cavaliers.
So in Cavs terms, Tom's like Ahmad, and I tend to be like John Michael here today and going through. And if Tom's the hype man, I will be emceeing most of the awards. So first, thank you to Tom, and for not only our friendship but our partnership, and asking me to do this. You know, I just because Tom gave a quick story, I think it's very indicative of what drove me to accept the nomination to be his co-chair this year and next year as well. You know, a couple years ago, especially during COVID, we did a bunch of food security distributions, and one of the things that stood out at one of them, it was in the Muni lot. It was a beautiful day, kind of like today. One of the things that stood out was Tom mentioned not just, you know, it's some of our basic necessities in order for us to provide for our families. You think roof over your head, you think a warm meal on the table. And what was very compelling to me and motivating, kind of all in the same, was the fact that there was probably, at least at that distribution, by my count, there was about 20 to 25% of people, when you open their trunk, you basically saw their life's things in the back of that trunk. You know, you saw the basic needs of clothing, you saw the basic needs of shoes, and what we, you know, as you start having conversations and talking to people, you quickly realize that, you know, the need is so profound. And the need goes even beyond food, but it goes beyond being able to do so many things in our community. And so for us, it's a very easy thing for us to get up in the morning and to think about the impact that we can create, especially with great partners like Dr. Mihaljevic, with like Mayor Bibb, and so many of you here. And I do, before I jump into, because I've got a whole host of stuff here that I want to make sure we get to, I do want to thank Kristen and her team. You know, the entire group, round of applause. It is, you know, the work that you do is so thankless sometimes, but so impactful. And the fact that we stand here in Cleveland, Ohio as an example for really what this should look like, you know, between, I think about the wraparound services that are offered at the different locations in partnership with great institutions like Tri-C, and many of you in here, by the way, I don't want to leave anybody out, the Cleveland Clinic and so many others. It really is a unique thing. And I think so often in life, and I say this to our group all the time, the power of perspective is an important one. And the power of perspective around the work that the Greater Cleveland Food Bank does right here in Northeast Ohio should be and will be exemplary for years to come because of the leadership and because of all the hard work that breathes life into that group every single day. So thank you so much for all that you do. A couple of things, you know, one, food insecurity is a core pillar of ours here at RAG. It's one thing that we focus on, food insecurity or food security, depending on, we like to play offense more than we like to play defense, as we just saw a couple weeks ago. And so food security is something that we like to focus on. That was a joke. Please don't tweet that out and don't put that out in the ether right now. We're working on the defense part. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, we are guided by our chairman's for more than profit vision. Dan has really set out, and if you haven't had a chance, he just got an article just published in Bloomberg about what he wants to do and the impact that he wants to make specifically between Detroit and Cleveland. And so for us, this work is something we lead with every single day. It's not about selling tickets and filling the arena and generating revenue. For us, it is about that to some degree, but it's also more importantly about the impact we can make as a community. We view ourselves as stewards of this great asset while we're here, and it's our job to try to continue to change and amplify and grow the trajectory of this great community here in Northeast Ohio. And so to have great partners, as we mentioned, and all of you that have been on this journey with us in the Harvest for Hunger campaign, we truly appreciate it. A couple of just notes, I do want to give a big shout out to Giant Eagle. We did this Million Meals mission this year in partnership with them, and I'll share a little bit more about some of the work that they've done at the cash registers and the checkout points across all of Northeast Ohio here in a second. But these are activities, these are moments for us to come together as partners to be able to fill the void that we're seeing, whether it's funding that maybe not there anymore or whether it's other things that come up in life. It's great partnerships like this that allow us to be able to fuel a lot of the work that we'll see and we'll go through. And I do want to give a big shout out to our team. Pam Frasco, Kevin Clayton, the entire group, kind of the team behind the team that really at the end of the day worked hand in glove with Tom's group and Kristen's group to deploy things like 50-50 raffles for in-game purposes. We did a lot of different things throughout the year to try to kind of activate and compel people to be a part of the Harvest for Hunger campaign. Not that you need it any more compelling, but they're really the people at the end of the day, those two and Amanda Brady, that have really led this entire charge for our organization, and it's something we're very, very proud of. As Dr. Tom highlighted, it's inspiring to see the amount of teams that have over 200 team members, or that have over 200 organizations, that have come together to support the Greater Cleveland Food Bank through this Harvest for Hunger campaign. It's that exact type of collaboration, that exact type of partnership that sets the example for what we can do within our great community. I mentioned this earlier, but I do want to thank some people that were a part of the Checkout for Hunger campaign. The Checkout for Hunger campaign is a campaign which sounds very simple. As you check out at your local grocery store, you get a chance to add anywhere from $1 to $10 at the register. And I will say, and Kristen was just sharing this with me, she would get reports kind of every morning on the good news of these proceeds rolling in. And we have some wonderful institutions to thank. We would love to thank Giant Eagle, GetGo, Heinen's, Dave's, and Lucky's Markets, along with many other retailers, including Bueller's, that have raised over $2 million for our neighbors in this fight against hunger. A round of applause for each of them. I'm going to single a few of you out here now for the purposes of why you should do this. But at Dave's and Lucky Market, if you could please stand, if representatives from this organization could please stand if you're here, if you're able to. Thank you. Thank you. They generated over $100,000 across their 13 stores, and we couldn't be more thankful and grateful for the impact that you've been able to create. Well, representatives from Heinen's, please stand, if you could. Heinen's. Heinen's was able to generate over $385,000 across 19 stores. Thank you so much for that. And for our representatives from Giant Eagle and GetGo, could you please stand? Please. And stay standing, if you could. Please stay standing. Giant Eagle and GetGo combined, they raised $1.625 million across their locations here in Northeast Ohio. Thank you so much for your great support and for all that you do. Giant Eagle also ran a Checkout Hunger campaign from March 1st to the end of May, and we're so grateful because they helped beat our goal by over $100,000. And so we could not do this without you. As you think about it, That's almost 20% of our campaign's initiatives between these great institutions here in Northeast Ohio for activating what they do. Thank you so much. I'd also like to recognize our Harvest for Hunger champions. These are organizations that contributed more than $100,000 to this campaign this year. And it is an honor and a privilege for our organization at Rock Entertainment Group to be joined by Bueller's Fresh Foods, Cleveland Clinic, Dave's and Lucky's Markets, Giant Eagle and Get-Go, and Heinen's Grocery Store, along with Meijer. If you all could please enjoy a round of applause and stand if you want again, because you deserve it as you see recognition. Next, we would love to recognize all of the organizations and institutions that are at the Emerald level for companies. The Emerald level are companies that have given over $50,000 or have donated over $100 per team member. So get that $50,000 or $100 per team member based on their per capita of their employee size. I'm going to read all these because I think it's important that everybody gets their shout out and their attention, especially given the commitment that you've shown for this campaign. But as I read them, please stand. Company representatives from Chubb Insurance, Citizens, City of Cleveland. Until Mayor Bibb, you get that extra 10 grand in, we'll bump you back up to the next one. DVA Architects, First National Bank, Globe Life Family Heritage Division, Greater Cleveland Food Bank, stand up, H. Jack's Plumbing and Heating, McCarthy, Levitt, Crystal and Liftman, Nestle, Sansone Produce, the Lincoln Electric Company, the Ohio Desk Company, the Old Stone Church, the Sherwin-Williams Company, and Thompson and Hine. Round of applause for everybody here for being a part of that. Thank you so much. Now we have a few individual honors as we go forward. It's a privilege to be able to honor these individuals and these organizations with these awards. They've done some truly exceptional work throughout this campaign, and we could not have done this without them. First, we want to recognize the Bag of Hope and the Edmund Worley Awards, which are presented each year to companies and organizations that demonstrate unparalleled commitment to the Harvest for Hunger campaign. These entities are considered for these awards based on employee participation, creativity of their efforts, and support for local hunger relief. The first award is the Bag of Hope Award. Organizations considered for this award are true champions for those struggling with hunger. They are with entities with 200 or more employees that involve a significant number of their team members and have found new and creative ways to raise funds and show their commitment to help with local hunger relief. We have 5 incredible finalists this year. In the running for this year's award, Cuyahoga Community College, Great Lakes Cheese, great cheese by the way, Thompson and Hine LLP, Cleveland Cliffs, love the front of the jersey, and all the work you do in the community, and Clearstead Advisors. This year's Bag of Hope Award, we should say goes to all of them because you all did incredible work during this campaign. But this year we'd like to recognize Tri-C. Round of applause. Just a few stats and then we'll welcome their team up for the award. But Cuyahoga Community College significantly boosted its commitment for fighting food insecurity through its expanded HFH initiative. Tri-C's annual community giving campaign raised over $5,000 in new payroll deductions, which was a new option for them this year, helped surpass previous contributions, and as a long-standing great partner of the Greater Cleveland Food Bank, Tri-C also sponsored at the market at the food bank event and maintains on-campus food pantries stocked with donations from the campaigns to provide students with healthy food options. Additionally, Tri-C's team members were present at the Greater Cleveland Food Bank Resource Center, offering educational guidance to community members and many, many other wraparound services that help lift up our community and these people that need these resources in their time of need. The organization-wide commitment makes us proud to make sure that we present and recognize Tri-C's efforts. Dr. Bastian and Claire, will you please come up and accept your award?
So much. All right, you guys. Your photo. Thank you. I need to put it in the
Thanks, you guys.
You two know what you're with them.
We'll keep going, and then we'll get the photos going, because we want to make sure everyone has an efficient experience. Now to present the Edmund V. Worley Award. Ed Worley was the founding executive director of the Greater Cleveland Food Bank. Pretty important role, I would say, over the years, and a dedicated servant to those in need in our community. This award is dedicated on Ed's behalf because of the impact that he created right here in Northeast Ohio. It's given to a company with fewer than 200 team members that has found new and creative ways to raise funds for the HFH campaign and initiative. This year's top finalists for the award were AdCom, State Industrial Products, Myers, Roman, Friedberg, and Lewis, and the Ed Huck team. We are very proud at the Greater Cleveland Food Bank to present this year's Edmund V. Worley Hope Award to Myers, Roman, Friedberg, and Lewis. Round of applause. And if you could start coming on up to receive your award. The firm's 2025 Harvest for Hunger food drive, which ran throughout March, was a multifaceted success. It incorporated creative fundraising initiatives, dedicating collection efforts, and highlights include a St. Patrick's Day themed green market auction, 2 March Madness pools, mine didn't do very well this year, turns out, sales of shamrocks and crocheted peeps, and a successful in-house bake sale. The team also organized theme weeks for specific food items for collection. The green market auction was further boosted by generous donations from local vendors in their area: Davis Bakery, Mulholland & Sachs, Taza Restaurant, Flower, Honeycomb Cafe, and Calvetta Brothers Floor Show. Throughout March, employees were engaged with promotional educational materials about HFH's mission to ensure continued effective support. We are so grateful and thankful once again for the entire firm at Myers, Roman, Friedberg, and Lewis. Thank you so much. I promise I'm almost done. Finally, we want to recognize some of our team members that are boots on the ground, breathing life into and activating these campaigns. We know that as leaders across this great region in Northeast Ohio, our work only extends so far. Tom and I can send the emails out, Kristen can breathe life into them, but it's really the team members that are housed within each and every one of your organizations that help to carry through the food drive initiatives, to help to collect the food, make sure that people are making the donations. These coordinators really ultimately breathe life, as I mentioned, into these campaigns. This year, our award is given to ultimately the teams that are able to have the most amount of collective success across their entire enterprise. Our coordinators this year, first I want to give a little bit of background on the organization and their efforts. I'm going to make it remain nameless so they don't know who they are. But this organization, which is a Cleveland institution, the first publicly traded company right here in Cleveland, which gives it away a little bit, yielded over 415,000 pounds of food across their entire footprint here in Northeast Ohio and beyond. They've given over $3.25 million to the food bank's initiatives across the 60 communities that they serve over the last 3 to 4 years. They are committed to helping fight food insecurity across the board, from their chairman and CEO all the way through to the people that work every single day in their mills around the country. This year's award, we'd like to recognize Zach Sevilla and Greg Primich from Cleveland Cliffs. Please come on up. And the third person that couldn't be here is Anna Ediger as well. Anna was helpful with Greg and with Zach in helping to make this campaign successful. Cleveland Clinic constantly promotes their HFH campaign, whether it's through vendors, whether it's through engaging their team members, through prominent collection points in their steel mills. All that they do help them to yield these type of results. And their commitment extends well beyond collection of food. Their direct non-fundraising support, as I mentioned, has provided over $3.5 million the past 5 years for this initiative. They're regularly featured in company-wide communications, and if you talk to Lorenzo Gonsalves, their chairman and CEO, we just talked about this over the weekend, actually, him and I did. Their focus and their intent on helping to provide food security for our region, it's real, it's something they're very passionate about, and it's something that he personally is invested in every single day. we love to recognize once again Greg, Zach, and Anna, who could not be here, for your support in helping to lead such great success for this year's Harvest for Hunger campaign. Thank you so much. Finally, in closing, I mentioned I was almost done. You all have helped us. This is a complete team effort to yield these results. 33 million meals, as Tom shared. Our goal was 29.7 million meals when we set out for this campaign this past fall. And so that is what winning looks like in this world, and we couldn't thank you all enough for your partnership and all that you do. You know, whether it's been John Langer and H-Jacks Plumbing and Supply for helping a $60,000 match with us over the last couple of weeks to help us round into form, or whether it's all of you just considering and contributing, whether it's, as it says over here, $10, $5, or $1 towards this campaign. We couldn't do it without all of you. And so Tom and I, we stand on your shoulders for all the great work that you do in this community. And once again, thank you to the entire team at the Greater Cleveland Food Bank. We appreciate you. Kristen, the mic is yours.
Thank you so much, Nick. So I'm back to wrap it up with just a few more awards. I am always impressed by the young people, the young leaders in our community who get involved in such important work to make our community an even better place. And that's why I'm excited to have the opportunity to present the Rory Borgio Award today. This award is given to a remarkable school working to help the community that they are in. This year we also had wonderful finalists, 5 amazing finalists. Bedford Heights High School Mentoring Program, the Birchwood School of Hawken, the Laurel School First Graders, the After School All-Stars of Cleveland, and the Strongsville High School Key Club. Now, I will tell you, the decision was not easy, but I am very proud to welcome up to the front one more time the winners of the Rory Borgio Award, Bedford Heights High School Mentoring Program. I know you're here. Come on up, all of you, please. Thank you. So this year, the school and its students organized a wide variety of engaging Harvest for Hunger activities. Each mentoring group designed a unique physical challenge, like a push-up contest or a 3-point shootout, which students and staff could enter by donating canned goods. They did a penny war, which encouraged competition against different grades in mentor groups, to collect the most pennies in a week, with silver coins used strategically to sabotage the other teams. They collaborated, their mentors and their mentees, to assemble holiday food baskets, to collect donations, to hold theme days like Mac and Cheese Monday and Tuna Tuesday, to collect specific food contributions. They used their creativity to produce digital flyers, quotes, videos to raise awareness, sharing them on their school and social media pages, and they gave their time to volunteer, gaining firsthand experience in community service and a deeper understanding of food insecurity. I'm so delighted to have you here and to recognize you with the Rory Borgio Award.
Thank
And right
you.
down here as
We
well.
actually just left. You see, we just left community service. So
Oh, look at that! I love that! I don't know if you all heard that, but they're casual because they've been doing community service this morning. How great is that? How great is that? I also want to recognize a special student who's shown leadership in their school's Harvest for Hunger efforts. The Student Leadership Award is given to a remarkable individual who's working also to help the community. And this year's recipient is Molly Fang of the Case Western Reserve Law School. So Molly orchestrated a highly successful food drive, employing a multi-pronged approach to maximize participation and impact. She launched social media campaigns. She strategically placed food drop-off boxes throughout the law school. She collaborated with law school organizations, including incentives for donating, like earning points for the Student Public Interest Law Fellowship. I think that's brilliant, Molly. A key aspect of Molly's strategy, and we can all learn from this, was her commitment to inclusive outreach. She personally contacted every student organization and faculty member, both in person and online, to ensure everyone felt encouraged to participate. To further amplify her message, she designed posters for social media and drafted shareable emails for widespread distribution. You know, Molly, if you decide you don't want to do the law school thing, we might have an opportunity for you at the food bank. I'm very, very impressed. Thanks to Molly's efforts, her food drive successfully raised over $1,000 and 461 pounds of food. Molly, thank you and congratulations. Down here is the real picture. No, go down with our co-chairs. Okay, good. Yeah, all right? Thank you. The real photo op's over there. Well, congratulations to all of our winners and all of the nominees. We simply could not have blown by this goal without each and every one of you. We are grateful for your passion, and we hope that others will follow in your footsteps. A campaign like this requires a whole lot of support, so I have just a few more people to thank. Although the awards are over, I do want these folks to stand in their places so that I can recognize their efforts. First of all, the campaign would not be what it is without great support from our media partners, some of whom are here today. They promoted Check Out Hunger, encouraged community support, and increased awareness about the issue of hunger. Their support began in February with a Harvest for Hunger kickoff, where they participated in a grocery bagging contest. It was fabulous, quite a scene. And they continued their support through the campaign at Market at the Food Bank, and of course, through their presence here today. Our media partners are Cleveland.com, Fox 8, Channel 5, WKYC Channel 3, WOYO 19 News, Q104, and iHeartRadio. We wouldn't be here today without them. Can we give them a quick round of applause? I also want to thank the Greater Cleveland Food Bank's Board of Directors. It is truly an extraordinary and engaged group, and their passion and engagement makes the organization what it is. I am so grateful to have the opportunity to work with them. They have worked throughout this campaign, and they work all year long to help the food bank make invaluable connections with leaders in our community. They worked alongside Janet Smith to make this year's Harvest for Hunger Market at the Food Bank the best event ever. And we are just so grateful for their leadership. Can I ask our Board of Directors members who are here to please stand? Come on, don't be shy. Thank you. Look at this. What a nice board turnout. And of course, I also want to thank our staff at the food bank. They have worked tirelessly on this year's campaign to support your amazing efforts, while also running, as you saw, an internal food and funds drive that earned us Emerald status. It's something I'm so proud of, not just their passion for our work, but also their personal generosity when it comes to fighting hunger. You know, nearly every employee at the food bank is involved in the Harvest for Hunger campaign in some way, whether they're leading the effort on our fundraising team, or supporting communications, or picking up food donations, or leading volunteers to repack that product in our warehouse. And we could not do what we do without them. It is a privilege, and I am so proud to work with our team. So can I ask the food bank team to please stand? Got a lot of folks here back to the back. And now to close. Two more very special people to thank. I mentioned earlier that the role of a Harvest for Hunger co-chair is typically a 2-year commitment, and Dr. Mahalovic is finishing up his second year of leadership. He and his colleague, Vicki Johnson, who I mentioned earlier, have just been such a force in their passion and in their work with us, making important commitments, spreading the word about the importance of this work, creating awareness about the issue of hunger, and of course supporting it at every level at the Cleveland Clinic, not just with staff, but also with important contacts and partners. We are so, so grateful. And so we have a very small token of our appreciation for each of you, and I hope that you will come to the front of the room so we can recognize you for all of the meals that you've made possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome.
You're very sweet.
Wow, we appreciate you. Thank you. All right. Okay. So thank you again to everyone here today. Please make sure that you pick up your certificate if your organization earned a certificate on your way out this afternoon. And so many thanks to the Cleveland Cavs for hosting this wonderful lunch in this fabulous spot. Your generosity means the world to us. Here's to a great campaign next year.